Okay, so now I get the pleasure of inviting up Berend. Berend is from Resello, which we're going to talk about. He's a managing director at Resello, so please give him a warm round of applause. All right, do we have his mic?
Yes.
Perfect.
We do.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Berend a couple of questions, and I'm going to start with, please tell us more about your company, a little bit about yourself, Resello, Yourhosting. Who are you?
To give a short introduction. Are you interested to hear a little bit experience from the field about Azure Stack? Are you? Yourhosting, we're a Dutch group of ICT companies. The mission of our organization is to help organizations and individuals finding the right answers to their IT challenges. And by doing so, helping them to achieve their goals. We started in 2001 with the hosting company Yourhosting. Currently, we have 150,000 customers. We are the largest hosting provider in the Netherlands. Supplying high-quality solutions for domain name registration, websites, website building, and also cloud products. Out of this experience with Yourhosting, talking to a lot of customers, talking to a lot of vendors, and seeing all those products that come to us as a hosting provider, we envisioned that a lot of companies will have a big challenge in the future. When you walk here on the floor, you see an enormous load of possibilities, challenges, a lot of solutions, and I see you guys all wonder, how do I integrate this into my company? How do I provision this? How do I arrange all those communications with all those vendors? So that's why we came in 2013 with Resello. It's a cloud-based automation platform. It has a multi-tier, highly sophisticated multi-tier reseller system, making it easy, accessible, and able for hosting companies, big and small, to supply all kinds of hosting products, cloud solutions, SSL, domain registrations, etc. So yeah, that's a little bit the introduction of our company.
It's interesting, yeah, because you took your roots in hosting
yes.
and the problems you were encountering as a hoster, and you said, hey, other people are probably having these same problems. How can we help them solve that? And
exactly.
So it's turned into other business units.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about your relationship with Microsoft, because you didn't start there.
It's quite recent, actually. Yeah.
Yes, it's quite recent. So tell us a little bit more about how things started with Microsoft.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, thanks for having me here on stage, because we're not doing that long time business with Microsoft. Originally, we are a Linux hoster.
Wait, what was that word again?
Yeah.
I don't know what that one means. Linux.
So that's the distribution modules of Microsoft. Let's put it nicely. The distribution models of Microsoft didn't quite fit in with our distribution models and ideas. But then last year, everything changed with the CSP program, making it possible for us to both do our own provisioning of Microsoft products, do our own billing, and do our own support. So that changed, and that's when we started doing business with Microsoft. And today, Yourhosting is a CSP market maker in the Netherlands. We are showing the highest numbers of growth, and now we are expanding the products, the Microsoft products, into our portfolio. So next to where we started with Exchange Online, Office 365, Skype, etc., we now also do CRM, Microsoft Dynamics CRM Online, and yes, now we're also looking at Azure Stack, as you know.
Yeah, what a great story. So you started with the Office applications, you've done CRM, and now you're really digging into Azure. We came to you with sort of the idea of Azure Stack and said, can we do some things together? You're in our early adopter program, so what have you seen so far from Azure Stack?
Yeah, when we started in the early adoption program, end of last year, I guess it was, since then, we talked it over with a lot of prospects, a lot of customers, and we had an enormous response from the market. I'm gonna explain later on some ideas, some propositions you can do with the hybrid cloud. For us, it's just everything about scale and about consistency, and bringing, for us, Azure Stack is bringing the consistency of the Azure Stack or the Azure platform, the public Azure platform, to our data center just opens up a whole new world for us.
Yeah.
And enabling developers to create applications that run in both worlds and making it possible for our end users to interact in the same way with this both worlds.
Yeah.
That just opens up a whole new world. And
yeah, in fact, I think you've got a couple examples here of some of the customers that you've been working with.
Yes.
And the ideas, we talked about this idea of Azure Stack enables new ideas. What are some of the new ideas you've been discussing with customers, some of the scenarios that you're seeing?
Yeah, for example, the first one, the scenario on the left, it's a Dutch, European windmill producer. And just for around 4 weeks, 6 weeks a year, they collect a lot of information for technical purposes, for maintenance purposes, for development purposes from their windmill turbines. So they need, for a very short period of time, they need a lot of compute power. Right now, they store everything in their own data center. They have a lot of equipment there, and it needs to be replaced. And they were thinking about, make or buy. Do we do this ourselves, or do we find another way to do this? And now we're offering them Azure Stack in our data center. They will take use of the public cloud, the hyperscale, use the big compute power of Microsoft public cloud, but then store all the information, which is sensitive, as you mentioned earlier in one of your sheets. This is very commercial sensitive information, and they will store it at a trusted party. They know it for a very long time, and they feel it feels good for them to store it into our data center.
Got it.
So that's the first example. The second one is about municipalities. In Holland, we got, I believe, around 390 of them, and we're talking to a couple of them, and they are just not allowed yet. Europe, especially Holland, I guess, is quite sensitive about privacy issues. It's we all know this about Patriot Act, etc. And the Dutch communities are just not allowed to go public cloud. So now with Azure Stack, we can give them the Azure environment, which they like so very much, but we're just reluctant and unable to take benefit of.
Got it.
And they can now use it in our premises based on Azure Stack.
Yeah.
So it's opening up there also a lot of possibilities in the government area where privacy, personal privacy, like passport information, personal ID, etc., is very important to keep safe. And the last one I've here is a European, now a worldwide research center. So they're doing lots of market research, and they have to use the compute power of Microsoft Azure because they need a lot of data queries, etc. But they need, by the people they have to do this for, they have to store it in the local country. So by having multiple data centers all around the world, we can store it in United States, we can store it in India, we can store it in Russia, we can store it in Europe. So there's a possibility of having global scalability, but still local presence.
Got it.
And that's also a very good example of using Azure Stack as a hybrid cloud.
Yeah, I think those are 3 great examples. So maybe a piece of advice or two before you go?
Yeah, I would like to advise to really look at the power and the possibilities of Azure Stack, combined with the knowledge and also the help you get from Microsoft. I mean, I can say this, being a former Linux hoster. Just the last time I mentioned this. And
we're a new Microsoft parent.
Yeah. I know Microsoft loves
1
Linux.
in 3 VMs inside of
we
Azure.
love Microsoft. Yeah, that's kind of stuff. Yeah. Enough about this. Take advantage of this. During the early adoption program, we had great support with Microsoft to make this work. And the last tip I would really like to give you, you've seen here a lot of information, and Mark, excuse me, for you it's the same as product director, it's a lot of technical stuff, right? I used a nice word now. A lot of technical stuff. And I just want to advise you that when we talk to customers, you engage with different people. And I don't think a owner of a lot of companies will like to or will be convinced about all the technical stuff. So change your language. Adapt your language to the person you're talking with. If you're talking to technical people, they're interested in this. But if you're talking to a decision maker, many times the director, the general manager of the company, change your language. talk benefits. I mean, I always say features don't sell. I mean, features are important, they are nice, but they don't sell. So explain them the benefits of Azure, Azure Public combined with Azure Stack. They are interested in hearing that their information is safe, that it's economically convenient for them to do it in this way, etc. Those are the advantages that those decision makers would like to hear.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I
talk
want to say.
business. Hey, thanks very
Yep.
much, Berend. And give Berend a hand.